you for joining us. We begin this hour with a major development in the battle against COVID-19. The UK is the first country in the West to authorize the use of a coronavirus vaccine. British regulators gave Pfizer emergency authorization on Wednesday to begin distribution of their vaccine. After months of clinical testing, the pharmaceutical company found their vaccine was 95% effective at preventing COVID-19 infection. The UK says it has already ordered 40 million doses of the vaccine, with doses available by next week. In total, more than 1.6 million people in the UK have tested positive for coronavirus, resulting in over 59,000 deaths. CBS News foreign correspondent Charlie D'Agata joins me now from London. Hi, Charlie. So the UK is the first country to approve of a coronavirus vaccine for mass distribution. How were they able to get ahead of the US and the rest of Europe in this approval process?
Tanya, I think that is the key question. Certainly, if I were an American, I am an American, if I were an American in the United States watching this, I'd be asking that same question. Why did the Brits have it first? Why was the approval process so much quicker here? British regulators have used what's called a rolling review of the Pfizer vaccine, which means that they have been looking at the Pfizer vaccine, the data and the clinical trials since June. We learned that today from the head of the MHRA, the regulators, the FDA version here in the UK. So they've been looking at this data and the research and the clinical trials since June. So when this was finally given to the regulators for approval, which is only about 10 days ago, it was described as like they were already at the base camp. All he needed to do then was get to the summit. So they had all the data that was there. They really just needed to approve the information that they already knew. So it may appear, certainly to the Europeans, who've been deeply critical of the British process. They said today that they believe that the Brits have fast-tracked this vaccine in order to sort of score political points, if you will. The Europeans say that they will probably finish their own testing and their own analysis by December 29th. But yes, each day that goes by, they're losing time in the United States, losing time here, as you pointed out in the lead-in to me. People are dying. As quickly as you can show that something is safe and effective, it needs to be rolled out. And we're going to have something like 800,000 doses available and rolled out and administered by early next week.
So then how soon will the UK begin distribution with those 800,000 doses, and who is first in line?
Right, so Pfizer said today that they have already packaged and they are sending the first batch of these doses, 800,000, here to the UK. And as we understand it from British regulators who are now running this, they will start administering those vaccines as early as Monday. Now, the people who are going to get it first are those, to use their words, those who are most in fear of dying, the people that are the most vulnerable. So people in care homes will be getting it, the people who help people, the health workers in care homes. But realistically, logistically speaking, it will also be the NHS, the healthcare workers in these hospitals that will be receiving the vaccines first. Because the way it works is, we know now, the Pfizer vaccine has to be kept in a deep freeze just until the last couple of days before it's administered. The logistical train is already in place to do that, but in terms of getting it to your arm, as it were, it has to go to these hospital hubs, and then it's going to be shipped out in terms of, and then for the administration of the shot itself. But yes, this is going forward. The first batch of 800,000 will be coming within the next few days, but the health minister said today he expects millions by the end of this year.
Wow. But this is a dual dose vaccine. Is that correct? So is there any discussion of how long it will take to get enough of the population there vaccinated?
Well, here, Tanya, the United States has an advantage. Yes, as you mentioned, the UK has 40 million doses. That means 20 million people, if you will. So it's dual dose. So the first vaccine will be administered, and then another 28 days, the second vaccine, the booster shot, will be administered. During that time, there is a level of defense I don't know the number offhand, but it's not till that booster comes through at that 28-day period that they will have the full immunity, as much as we can describe anything as full immunity, for a full year. It's worth mentioning, by the way, the AstraZeneca, the Oxford-AstraZeneca, which had been the front runner, certainly here in the UK, that is under a similar approval process at the moment, and it's expected that will get approval within the next few days. And here in the UK, that is critical because they've got 100 million doses. So yes, the Pfizer vaccine will be first. It will go to the people who need it most. But in terms of the general population, and they have these stages of who gets it first, it's likely, if not probable, that the Oxford vaccine is the one that's going to be mass distributed over the next sort of 2 months rather than the next couple of weeks.
All right, major development in the fight against COVID. Charlie Daggett in the UK, thank you so much.
Thank you, Tanya.